What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. We are going to cover the NASDAQ 100. We are currently looking at the QQQ. I will flip over to the NASDAQ futures chart for those specific numbers. But for overall context, I want to cover the QQQ. So we're starting off looking at the 5-minute time frame. I'm going to zoom out a little bit, but I just kind of wanted to start off this video by showing you what an amazing move that we had this morning off the open, but quickly how things sort of turn around. And I want to kind of show you why in just a second things can turn around just like that. Okay, so coming in off the bell today, I'm still leaning short biased, right? I still think that the market internals are weak. Are they getting better? Not really. But again, I'm not a perma bull and I'm not a perma bear. So I will trade both sides of the market, which I did today, not only on futures, but with the QQQ, with Tesla, with NVIDIA, and some of the other bunches of names. So for myself personally, I want to kind of speak to you on what I'm doing. Today, my portfolio was up about 4.5%, but it's only because I'm trading options. Okay. Now, if I was not trading options and I was not kind of sort of protecting that long-term portfolio, I would be where a lot of people are in market conditions and cycles like this, where they're constantly just kind of watching their portfolio bleed slowly by slowly, day by day by day. And, on days where you get a big move to the upside, you get happy, you start to think that the market has found a generational bottom, only to be rug pulled and down even lower. That's the start of a correctional period. That's the start of sometimes bear markets, right? And depending on how long you guys have been trading these markets, maybe you've been a part of a bear market or not. I've been a part of a couple. 2022 was the last one that I could really remember. And it kind of started around this time as well. And it essentially lasted all year. Markets overall indexes were down, close to 25-33% in between that ballpark, give or take, depending on if you're looking at the S&P 500 or you're looking at the triple Qs. Again, we had a very short, brief bear market followed by a sensational rally in 2020 during COVID. We're all pretty familiar with that. We obviously had the tariffs back in April of 2025. I wouldn't really call that a bear market, but it was a sharp decline and a pretty steep decline as well. So just kind of looking at this chart, if you notice on this chart, we had a little bit of a sell-off to start the open, followed by no continuation. Now, the price I was looking at was a price of about $599, $600. If we were to get down here in this zone, that would have been a good opportunity for a bounce to kind of happen, a bounce to populate. Again, not a bounce that was necessarily going to take out, multiple days of previous price action, but just that little sort of relief bounce. And this kind of pullback that we had off the open was very, very short-lived. So if you kind of notice on this chart, I've got a lot of supply and demand zones. We lost this 200-day moving average, and I kind of want to give you guys some context. The 50 SMA and the 200 SMA, if we are underneath those levels of supply, you definitely don't want to be long, okay? The same way that if we are above those levels of supply, typically you're not looking to be short. Now, you might be waiting for pullbacks, you might be waiting for a spot, a key level where you can try to bounce a particular name, whether that's the NASDAQ futures, whether that's trading equities, whatever the case may be, whatever instrument you want to be trading. It could be cryptocurrency, I don't really care. But that's sort of a rule of thumb. So when we washed out off the open here, this was an area of opportunity to get short. Wait for some type of bounce that gets rejected between the 200 and the 50 SMA, and then maybe try to take a stab once we lose those demand zones or supply zones since they were trading above us again, and then you short that to the low of day and see if you can hold a runner to maybe see if we can reach that potential down there towards 600. That did not happen. A quick reversal off the open after the first 30 minutes and after the dust sort of settled. And the market essentially went up for about an hour to an hour and a half straight. Okay, very, very aggressive move. And then I started noticing going into lunchtime, we're not really making new highs. And because I'm not really buying, or I should say, I'm not really convinced, okay, that the selling is over, I need to see a little bit more. I'm not too excited to go long into supply, right? Into hourly supply, daily supply off the back of a big move, okay? Especially when we're underneath macro supply. So with that being said, I'm kind of looking for those areas, those rejection spots, and I tried a couple of shorts. There was a double top here at this particular time. If you kind of notice, around 8:05 Pacific Standard Time and 8:30 Pacific Standard Time leading into lunch. Again, I'll make a note about lunchtime, but I seen a little bit of a double bottom, put on a short position, did catch a little bit of a move, and then the market started to bounce again and took out all-time highs. Now, because I'm a scalper, I'm not really looking for the market to retrace. I'm not really looking for the market to give me 100 points, okay? I'm more of a realist. I want to get in, get out as cleanly as possible, and then try to, find the next area of potential. Now, during lunch, if the market has been power trending one particular direction, typically, again, not 100% of the time, but typically we see a pullback. Okay, we see that pullback. Now, if the market was going to continue to be strong, then coming out of lunch, we confirm highs and we continue with the move. Now, if you kind of look at where lunch started, we had a little bit of a bounce at the start of lunch, kind of took out all-time or the day's highs, and then we kind of pulled back. It was kind of a drag-ass sort of pullback, right? Very choppy, kept getting bounced, this, that, and the other. And then coming out of lunch, we made one more attempt to sweep the day's highs. Now, once this happened and we failed to take out the day's highs, this is where things start to really get going for me. Because if you look at what happens after this double top at the high of day, coming out of lunch, if there's going to be any more continuation on this move that we had off the open, again, and I completely am appreciative for this move off the open because it really helped recover some of these longer term holds that I have in the portfolio by giving them a nice boost. But because I'm always looking for cash flow and I'm looking to protect and hedge my portfolio as well, I'm looking to continuously make money day trading and scalping as well. So it's kind of a compounding effect, right? So if you notice, we had this double top and then we lose the 20 simple moving average. Now, those of you guys who have been trading with me for a while, watched my YouTube videos, you guys know what the 20 SMA play is. If you do not, and maybe this is your first time watching or coming across one of my videos, I have over 2,000 videos on YouTube explaining how simple it is to use the supply and demand zone of the 20 simple moving average to not only take trades, but try to stay on the right side of the trend. Now, you're going to see here coming out of lunch about 5 minutes after the lunch hour was over, we close below the 20 simple moving average. And you guys already know what the motto is. Once we close below that 20 simple moving average, we are using that previous candle as a stop or any closure back over the 20 simple moving average as a stop. And we get that confirmation to enter this trade here 10 minutes after lunch. And you're going to see that not only did we lose that 20 simple moving average, but we came down pretty orderly and tested some of these areas of demand. And I can kind of read out what some of these areas of demand are. That first big target that I would be looking for here would be a sweep of this low into this rising 50 simple moving average. Now, remember, we do not typically want to be short above the 50 simple moving average. But if you have potential, if you have some space, you can take shorts. Remember, they're a little bit more risky. So if you're a newer trader, I wouldn't really recommend them. But if you're a little bit more of an experienced trader and you're comfortable with the risk, you can definitely short if you have space between the 20 and the 50 and the 50 and the 200, if that makes sense. Those are the main ones that I want you guys to focus on. So we run right into that 50 period moving average. Now, because I'm in a mindset of the market looks strong today, we have a dead cat bounce. The last thing that I want to see happen is we pull into this 50 simple moving average. I do not sell for profits and get bounced on the market making a high of day. So I sell for profits. Okay, sell for some profits there. Look for the next opportunity. That next opportunity is going to come once we start trading below that 50 simple moving average. And our target is going to be down here at that 200 SMA. So below that 50 simple moving average, into those targets, into those demand zones of that 200 simple moving average. And essentially, the market just grinded down after lunch. Okay. We essentially erased everything that was done off the open. And why is that significant? Buyers cannot hold the bid. Okay. The bulls just cannot, for the life of them, the past month, 2 months, hold the gains. Now, even in correctional periods, even in bear markets, even at the start of a pullback, you will see aggressive rallies back up to the upside. It will feel that everything is going back to normal. And just like that, the market will pull back. So everything that we did in the first hour to hour and a half of the market was completely unwound in little less than an hour. Okay. Essentially, like you can see where the breakout started. Once we really got above that linear regression channel, we came back down to retest that linear regression channel. Now we are still holding, but we are starting to put in a lower high. So we're a long ways away from the high of day. You can see the little bit of the rally that we had going into the close. We failed to stay below that high of day. If we do start to give up this area of 603.25, I'm pretty confident that this week we see 598, 599. On the QQQs, you can correlate those levels with the NASDAQ futures. So if I just go over to the NQ chart and we look at the chart, it's going to look exactly the same. The only thing different is going to be the numbers. So what we would be looking for on the NASDAQ futures is if we start to confirm 24,856, price action is going to be a magnet down here to 24,750 and then 24,650. Okay, this could be imminent. It could be something that is in the near future, whether it's the end of this week or going into next week. If we do not hold this whole area here at around 24,850s and start to reclaim today's high, those would be the two areas that you should be targeting. Okay, so I hope you guys found some information out of this video. If you did, like, comment, subscribe. Apex is back with 90% off sales. You can use my discount code DAnthony. I would highly appreciate it. That's what helps support the channel. Again, I will catch all of you guys on the next video.